Hello, I am KaNukei. I was one of the leaders for the Plains State and Ish13c's social experiment. And I just wanted to sort of go through and just kind of point out some areas where I thought that things could be a little bit more accurate, and just see what's true. And I'm real excited because I think this is going to look really cool. So let's check it out.
In an ultimate social experiment, 200 Minecraft players were randomly
Look at
scattered
those
across
shaders.
4 massive islands, each its own civilization and its own
Hey, that's
unique
us.
island. The players knew one thing only: if they die, they are dead forever. We had the Plains Island, the
Yeah, that was
Desert
stressful.
Island, the Snow Island, and the Jungle Island. The players were
Plains
given no
supremacy.
guidance. It was entirely up to them to gather resources, elect a leader, build a society, and if it came down to it, they go to war. The things
I feel like I should mention here that the political battling for the leadership of State 1 started way before any of us even joined the server. There were elections, there were tensions, and I sort of banded together with my followers to join Iwaj and Time, or Altio's team, to go up against Smile Chump. And we held the election before we even started, and me and Iwaj and Time won by a landslide. But Smile Chump kind of just went and did his own thing. So that's some context for you.
that happened throughout this experiment made for an absolutely crazy story arc. You do not want to miss any of it. So sit back, grab a snack, and choose a nation to root for.
Root for Plains. Root for Plains. There were actually a lot of really cool plot twists that happened in this game. Is it loud enough?
Thank you to Magicum for the inspiration for this video. Also, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give me an incentive to make more like it by subscribing to my channel and liking this video.
Yeah, there was also a slander campaign that we ran against Smile Chump, but that's not really super important at the moment, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Much of day one was used for exploration and colonization. The people
Much of day one was Iwaj shouting at us and telling us what to do.
Set up camp. Those on the snow and desert islands quickly realized that wood was going to be a very scarce resource, as trees were extremely rare. Seems like this guy right here has found quite literally the only patch of trees in the desert. The rest,
yeah, we were pretty lucky with the trees.
At the same time, because of the harsh climate, both desert and snow knew they would need to prioritize farming early in order to feed the entire population.
we worked really fast to get stuff going.
This is part of the farming team. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the plains and jungle states had no problem gathering both food and wood, and were thus able to advance their civilizations more quickly. Citizens of the jungle island had decided to meet up and set up their home at the volcano in the middle of the jungle.
Give a little and you take a little.
So Team Jungle's establishing a communist system?
No.
This is also really interesting because I don't know what happened on the other islands. I can only really speak for Plains.
Sure,
Now we're
whatever.
why not?
On the
But I have
Plains
no idea what
Island,
happened on the other
multiple
islands.
Civilizations starting to form, including this small
Yeah.
Well, I think food will be very important, so I'm trying to upscale my farming. You know,
Yes,
yes. I gotta support all the people of the Plains biome. We're gonna start.
That's cap. I don't think they were actually interested in supporting all the people of the Plains biome,
some animals.
because this is Smile Chump's faction right here.
So you have one pig that is ready.
One pig.
Eventually, many players took to the mines to extract resources from the grounds they now own. And of course, it did not take long.
Turn mic down a bit. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Is that better? Maybe there? Yeah, that should be better.
For political entities to form. Some islands held democratic
Like I said,
elections
there
to
were-
decide their leaders, while other islands
There were political parties forming before this even started, and we tried to do democratic elections and it did not work.
and saw leaders rise through authoritarian force. Shortly, a player named Solev became the dictator of the Snow
Solev
Island
is
after
very
rising to
important.
power with seemingly no opposition.
We have a farming team, which is over the mountain over there setting up a farm. We have a wood
Yeah,
team.
Solev
as
was
you can
really
see, who has solved our
impressive.
lumber problem immediately.
The desert state, meanwhile, had two coexisting factions. The first one labeled themselves the Sultanate, and they were ruled by the Great Sultan storming hell. The second faction called themselves the Amazon, and they were ruled by a group of leaders, the top leader being Zamta. This faction was composed mostly of people who had previously won a Mr. Beast gaming challenge, meaning
that's kinda
that
cool.
these guys are both wealthy and skilled. Accordingly, what the desert lacked in lumber, it made up for in minerals.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
32
So the desert
What?
had a lot of
Honestly, if we could
iron
dab,
and stuff.
some sugarcane,
Didn't know
so
that.
We could get an enchantment table.
Two
Honestly-
people died during day one, both on the snow island. The
Honestly,
first-
it was just so stressful trying to like get everything set up the first couple days that I wasn't really paying attention to the
was an
politics on the other
accident of
islands.
a beloved snow state member Protato who died by falling in a hole.
I'm glad you were on our
A
team,
funeral
Sal.
was held to honor his short life. The second guy was killed due to an execution order issued by Solev because he, quote, built a monument to worship Cardi B. As a result, he
That's
was
a
locked
valid
out of
reason.
existence. I hated saying those words. Anyway, that marked the end of day one. The server shut down, and the remaining players debriefed and made plans for the following morning.
There was a lot of debriefing going on in Discord. We were constantly talking
Day
and
two,
planning,
the
even
people
when
of
the
jungle
server
states
wasn't
who
open.
lived in the volcano decided to have an election. There were two candidates. 9209's pitch involved creating a government of checks and balances and citizen rights.
Very
Magic
cool,
Mikey's pitch
very
was
cool.
that he wanted to be a dictator who executes anyone who threatens his power. 9209 won the election. but instead of accepting
That
defeat,
sounds
Magic
very
Mikey
familiar,
and
but
his
I'm not
followers
gonna
left
say
the
who was
volcano
who
to
in
start
order
their
to
own
try and make this
civilization.
not just a
However,
slander
by leaving
video.
The volcano, Mikey and crew left behind their farm, so they quickly ran out of food.
Through the jungle biome, there's no freaking food in here, dude.
Literally, look at his shoulder. There's a parrot right there.
They don't have
Hey,
meat.
he does not drop anything. Do not kill my parrot.
I'm just kidding. I just enjoy causing chaos whenever it
Close
happens.
the door behind you. There's mobs.
This whole time, Mikey could not figure out or realize that he could catch fish from the river right outside his front door. In a way, his fate was sealed by natural selection, where only the most intuitive survive.
Yeah, that's
Plains
fair.
Island, on the other hand, was led from the top of a
Yeah,
mountain by a
look at
player
that.
named Iwaj. While this mountain became the Plains Island's base, some citizens defected and moved after they complained about excessive work demands. The defectors gathered in the previously
Was it
mentioned
really
small village,
excessive
which was
work
ruled by a
demands?
player named Smile Jump. Iwaj had previously threatened
Okay,
to kill Smile Jump if he ever challenged his rule over the Plains states, and it did not help tensions when Iwaj himself came to the village and allegedly stole some of the food supply.
whoa, okay. This is not what happened. What happened was that when we were first in the Discord trying to like set everything up before the event even started, was that Smile Chump claimed that he had a divine right to rule. And, you know, at the beginning, there was just a lot of people grappling for power. But, yeah, so there was 3 factions before this even started. It was me and my subscribers that I had talked into joining this experience with me. It was Time and her friends, which included Iwaj. Iwaj didn't even originally run as one of the main leaders, and it was Smile Chump. And then things got really aggressive before the server really started. I don't know if it was who started it, but it definitely wasn't just like Iwaj was like, oh, if you don't let me rule, then I'm going to take you out. We were very worried about Smile Chump because he seemed very much like the type of person that would be willing to just sort of like, you know, knock out anybody who opposed his quote unquote divine right to rule. So I don't think this is really fair to Iwaj. The fact that the excessive work demands is kind of, I could kind of see that being true, but like he really was just trying to like do what was best for the Plains biome. So that's my bit on that. I think this is very heavily biased against Iwaj, but
This fact prompted a member of Smile Chump's village to make this ominous statement about Iwaj.
So you're
Alright.
saying you wouldn't care if he suddenly were to die?
I would not. care.
It might be too late for
Ooh.
even Dr. Phil to save this relationship. Meanwhile, the people of the Snow States continue to labor under the command of Solev, building up a mighty snow civilization with a developed tree plantation,
Nice.
farm, and a main base.
Yeah, Solev really
Lastly,
seemed like he
both
had his
factions
stuff
in the
together.
desert seem to be thriving despite the difficult conditions of their dry environments.
And
Also,
so did-
while there were
so did the
initially
desert.
tensions between the Sultanate and the Amazon, they agreed to remain neutral and respect each other's territories.
I don't
spoke with the leader
understand
of the Sultanate.
why all the other islands were able to get along being separate factions, but why we just immediately went head to head. I think it's because Ewaj and Smilechump were both very strong personalities, and like we both knew from the start that there was only going to be one main faction, and that two were not going to work.
The other faction on this desert seems to be a very formidable opponent.
The rules of Sabaron. Praise our Lord 3 times per day. Do not eat pig or execution. Anything against our Lord is punishable with lashings or jail. They have a jail? Meanwhile, at the Amazon, Santa and the other Mr. Beast winners were expanding their land and
Wow.
developing economically so quickly that they started investing in commercial property, such as this flower shop.
This is my flower shop. I'm gonna build like a little base over at the
Okay.
ocean and do like a little bridge, so everybody can like come and chill at my flower cafe.
Then to wrap up day 2, on the Plains Island, this happened. Boat clutch time. That felt mildly preventable.
Ewaj was so
All
upset about that.
entities formed. It's time to see now.
Yeah.
Like,
Cell's in chat and he's talking about why we were so like immediately going up against each other, but like look at how close we are. Like it is kind of the fact that we're right next to each other rather than completely across the island.
interact.
That's true.
The third day presented challenges for almost all of the civilizations. The Sultanates reported to have items randomly stolen, chests broken, and someone was also killing their cows. They suspected that a player named Guardian Nova was doing this, and they immediately threw him out of the Sultanates. For revenge, Guardian Nova kept coming back to cause further chaos, thus creating a general sense of unrest within the Sultanate. He's coming back, he's coming back. Something's about to go down. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Oh,
Killing their
okay. So there was internal tension in other islands.
Solev
That's
was
good to
becoming
know.
Incredibly wealthy and powerful. See, you guys got enchantments. Enchanted fishing rod. How rich are you?
Nice.
Don't worry about it. Just don't let them know. Don't let the other team, or don't let our underclass know at that, please. They work in the farms.
Solev had just carried out another execution of
Oof.
a snow member who allegedly murdered 2 other Snow State members.
Really though, I want to give a shout out to just like how well Solev seemed to have run his state. Like as trying to lead the Plain State, it's hard, and the fact that Solev managed to have all this together,
While
pretty
this
impressive.
allegation turned out to be correct, some on the Snow State were becoming worried that Solev was becoming too powerful, like a tyrant. Finally, in the jungle, the Cold War between 9209's crew and Mikey's crew heated up very quickly. One of the volcano men was exploring the jungle herding 3 chickens. Mikey then killed those chickens. He defended his actions by saying, quotes, "I was hungry." This prompted some conflict between the two
Okay.
factions, which became fatal when Mikey ordered his spy to murder one of 9209's citizens. What? Did I just witness a murder? Mikey
Ooh,
then declared
that was
war
sneaky.
on 9209 and planned an attack on the volcano so that he could finally become the ruler of the jungle state. The attack was to take place the next day. 9209 quickly gathered his people, and they decided that instead of fleeing, they would stay to defend the volcano.
Ooh.
This set the stage for the jungle's civil war.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know how like accurate the stuff is for the
There's a
other
lot of
states.
Things that we have planned, but our biggest goal is gonna make that dang volcano erupt where all those peasants live.
Tried our absolute hardest to maintain the peace, and Mikey has tried his absolute hardest to do the exact opposite. So, you know, enough is enough. So we're just gonna tell the soldiers it's now or never, and try and kill every last one of them.
News of the impending civil war had gotten out. This lone jungle merchant's legacy, while living in a peaceful
That's kinda
isolated
cool.
hutch, seemed to know exactly what was about to happen.
If I redid the state experiment, I would probably just want to live by myself.
And whichever side wins is probably not going to be good for me. So I just have to stay out here in isolation.
Little did this lonely merchants know, Mikey and his crew had already set out to begin the revolution, and they were about to raid his home and destroy its
I
completely.
feel like Legacy
Fortunately,
became
Legacy was able to
important
fetch his
though.
parents and escape just in time.
Oh, poor Legacy.
Mikey continued his pilgrimage through the jungle, heading toward the volcano. 9209 and his men were gearing up, scanning the perimeters, not knowing where the attack would come from. Eventually, Mikey and his crew
At
reached
night.
the edge of the volcano, and the attack began.
Oh. Ooh.
Yep, here we go. First hits of the battle. This is it.
I really appreciate the classical music in the background. I like that. I like that, Ish.
Now know where they are, and they're gathering at this one point. Mikey's men now retreating back down the volcano. That's Magic Mikey himself. He's getting some good hits on this guy.
Oh, is he gonna clutch with a lava bucket? Oh, water bucket. Yo. Oh.
Mikey died from fall damage.
Oof.
Oh boy.
Rip.
Mikey soldiers scattered into the jungle and surrendered, thus marking 9209's victory in the jungle civil war.
Yeah.
I spoke with the 9209.
That the way he died was through attempting a block clutch, which is the most fitting death I have ever seen. Like,
MLG Mikey.
The revolutionaries, how do you feel?
extremely entertained.
There we go.
Alright, so the border should have dropped by now. Which means... I don't know. Oh. Okay, so Cell's telling me that one thing that the video left out was that Mikey's gang tried to raid us, the Plain State, on day 10, but that one of our soldiers, Pruso, killed them all without trying. So that's what happened to the rest of Mikey's gang, which is kind of something that I was wondering myself.
Oh my gosh. Major assassination just happened. Guardian Nova, the previous...
Also, this is this is kind of related, but not related. Cell is in chat. He's one of the other leaders of the Plain State that nobody really, I feel like, appreciated. But he was appointed our high priest on like day 1 or 2, and quickly became a leader just because he has that kind of attitude, I guess. I don't know. So there were 4 main leaders to the to the Plains faction, that the faction that I was in, and that was me, Iwaj, Cell, and then Memphar, and then Time. But Time wasn't on very often, so it was really just me, Iwaj, and Cell. And the timeline in this video is altered to make it a little bit more understandable if you haven't played. But I figured that I would just... that's sort of what I'm making this video for, is just kind of to like explain where the inconsistencies are between like what actually happened and what was just simplified in the video. I'm not trying to like make a jab at Ish or anything.
Chaos Maker had come back to kill the leader of the Sultanate. However, this allowed for the other desert faction, Amazon, to demonstrate their military might by hunting Guardian Nova down and killing him to avenge the death of Storming Hell. Oh, they got him. A funeral was held to honor the late Sultan, and the
Rip.
heir to the Sultan, Arvine, became the new leader.
Okay, so they like sort of made an alliance? That's kind of cool.
The Sultan's death was a sudden
Wow,
and tragic
that's
one,
a
but it was followed
cool
by
tune.
several days of peace. The weakened Sultanate worked on repairing its nation and building from where it left off. The alliance between the Amazon and the Sultanate was stronger than ever.
Yeah, that makes
Trade
sense.
routes formed and communication lines opened. At the Amazon, Hope Bounty's flower shop was finally completed. Oh, you're already very good. Hello, I would like a tulip, please.
One thing about this whole social experiment was that it all ended as soon as the military like conflicts ended, which is sad because I'd like to see more stuff like this where people built like economies and shops and stuff. But because everything was so based around military, everything was more efficient if it was like more of a communist system where everybody shared stuff and it was all managed by like the leaders. But it would have been cool if like we had had more time and like more incentive to do something besides something military.
Pink, orange, red.
How are there multiple tulips? Oh god, your bodyguards have arrived. They freaked me out. Celebrating its success, the Amazon then gathered for a group photo with Santa in the lead and Guardian Nova's head in the back. After prolonged discussion, 9209 and the rest of the Volcano Men decided it was time to move to a new location for a fresh and hopeful beginning. The fishing merchant of the jungle, Legacy, had now joined the rest of the jungle community and suggested that they could move to the place his home used to be. Everyone agreed. That day, they picked up their stuff, repaired Legacy's house, and built the jungle's new civilization in that very spot. Legacy, along with his parents, moved into his old home, but this time, he had many friends with him, and he lived in a thriving society. Meanwhile, on the Snow Island, Solev continued to rule with an iron fist, and his society was prospering. The Snow Civilization had built a holy temple to worship their god Boy Jedi, and to showcase the strength of their people.
Okay, I think it's funny I think it's funny that they were worshiping Boy Jedi because Cell is basically the high priest of one of the other mods on the server, which I think his name was Jawtooth or something. I don't remember exactly, which I feel really bad about. I'm sorry. I'm sure Cell's going to correct me in a second, but yeah. So like each island had a different god, and that was kind of like a cool, realistic. Jaw Unleashed, that's his name. And that was like a cool, like, actual thing that would happen, is like different religions popping up on different islands. I like that.
The two Plains factions, Iwaj's base and Smile Chum's village. The village was now doing especially well with many new members and houses to accommodate them.
Okay, I do think that Smile Chum's village was really pretty. Like, the building here was really clean.
At the end of day 7, the villagers gathered to celebrate their success.
And I made this cake especially for everyone, so there you go. Yay, cake! Yay!
I love the fact that no one cheered.
That was pretty much on me, bro.
A peaceful night came to a peaceful end. The age of jungle innovation is upon us. The expanded village out from Legacy's home, complete with the Among Us crewmate monument, allowed for the United Jungle citizens
Oh
to
my
advance
gosh.
new things. First,
There's somebody in the Discord trying to like make a different Discord where he can just like build Among Us statues wherever you want in the new state server. But this is going to be a big day, so this is going to be interesting. This is also really pretty.
Frickin' sound machine. Why is this a good idea? Why? You had no music disc, so you did this.
Yes, I had to make do. You didn't give me a lot of options.
Then they made a lag machine, which basically means they put boats everywhere.
Oh, I heard about this. Or was this a squid thing? I don't remember. There was something where either like there was a ridiculous amount of boats or a ridiculous amount of squid. And I think it might have been both, actually. But I remember hearing about this. This is it's nice to actually see this.
I can't fly, bro. Can you?
Well, I can't have more than 10 FPS while I'm at the jungle base. Looks like we all have problems. I was gonna destroy all the boats while they were offline, but then I got a Discord message from one of my paying YouTube donors, Xoratork. I decided to keep the boats. There was one massive tower-looking
Let's go, Xorator. Play of the entire experiment right there.
But no matter how much I asked, they wouldn't tell me what it was. What is this?
Here. It's a wooden fence.
The only thing they tell me is that it's a wooden fence. That clearly is not a wooden fence. While the people of the jungle were enjoying themselves, the rest of the political world was not as secure.
Yeah.
Indeed, there was a conflict arising, and this conflict was not contained to a single island or nation. There was about to be a major international diplomacy.
This is actually true. If this is what I think it is.
Of the Snow State, Solev was a relatively popular leader with high approval numbers. That being said, not everyone who claimed to be on his side actually was. a player on the Snow Island named Kumazaki.
Yeah,
did
I heard a
not
lot about
like Solev's
Kumazaki.
rule.
So Kumazaki actually approached Iwaj and we sort of like had an unspoken alliance that we just were not telling Solev about, that we knew about at all. But like we were definitely playing, I feel like, both sides of this conflict.
Over the Snow State, seeing him as a dangerous tyrant. Kumazaki was the geopolitical expert of the Snow Island, and he had devised a plan.
Kumazaki also claimed to have like just absolutely stacked gear.
Plan was to create a secret global alliance with all
Yeah.
leaders except for Solev. Then, with that leverage, Kumazaki would ask Solev to resign, and if he refused, Solev and his entire regime would be eliminated by the strength of the entire world's military power.
Yeah, I actually remember
After that,
this.
The alliance would stand, and world peace would be achieved.
Also, all this stuff actually happened on day 6. This is another thing where Ish kind of messed with the timeline. But
Those who agreed to join this alliance included Zamta and the Amazon, Arvine and the Sultanates, and Iwaj with his plains base. Smilechump and his village chose not to join because they did not like Iwaj, who they thought himself was a tyrant. The Jungle State didn't join because they already had a secret alliance with Solev and the Snow States.
furthermore, I feel like Smilechump didn't go against Solev because he kind of needed Solev's protection for when they attack us later in the video.
Alliance, which ended up thwarting Kumazaki's entire plan. Solev was informed of this plan by the Jungle States, and he promptly executed Kumazaki for his
Oh,
conspiracy to overthrow the
yikes.
I've just been informed of a plot to overthrow my government and slaughter my people. A plot supported by the foreign warmongering states. created
How
by
did
one
he
of
get
my own
netherite?
members. As a result, that member is dead. For every action taken against me and my people, there will be a swift and righteous reaction. They've made their move. Now it's my turn.
Iwaj, while an effective politician, was disliked by many. Most of those who disliked his leadership simply moved out of his base, but some of those people stuck around to create their own version of justice.
Yeah.
Somehow, Iwaj actually managed to escape.
Iwaj
and
escaped
his
this,
people killed the assassin.
and we all, hey, there's me. We all managed to kill him afterwards.
It was a close
That was funny.
call, but Solev did not merely commission one assassin.
Yikes. Okay, also, what happened here is that Iwaj was promised like safety during the interview. So Iwaj took off his armor in order to interview with Ish about why DRP was killed. But because Ish didn't think that Iwaj still wanted the TP because he didn't ask for it when he got into the call, he never actually TP'd Iwaj to a safe location, which is why Hattori Cage was able to kill Iwaj, because he was in a vulnerable state because he was in an interview with Ish. That made a lot of the people in the Plain State really unhappy. But
Hattori Cage, a spy for Smilechump's village, had succeeded in killing Iwaj. The assassination order came from both Smilechump and Solev, who are now in an alliance. Look at this, it looks like Iwaj's distraught people are planning to obliterate Smilechump's
Yeah.
village now. Smilechump's village was minutes away from Iwaj's army invading to slaughter all of the inhabitants. The people frantically picked up their most valuable possessions and climbed down into the village's emergency bunker. Once every single resident was underground, the entrance was blocked off, and the villagers used an escape tunnel to exit the bunker and leave the Plains Island for good.
that was actually kind of cool.
Welcome to the Bastion of Freedom. the
I
last
also,
stand of
TLT was one of the
free
subscribers that joined with me, so I don't know if he was acting as a spy or if he like actually defected. I know Lime, who's another one of my subscribers, defected just because he didn't like Iwaj. So Iwaj did have a tendency to sort of like make people. He wasn't the most charismatic leader.
expression of your tyrannical government and free to live as you please under the rule of our great and democratic society. Yeah.
This is also oh, so that was the second day that TLT logged on and he was in the migration path, so he just moved with them. Okay, that makes sense. This is something that really like made tensions worse between me and Solev, or between the Plains and Solev, because Solev was trying to like work with us, but he was in fact harboring basically terrorists because they had sent as an assassin to kill Iwaj. And we, as the democratically elected leaders, we were happy to just kind of let them live and do their own thing. So the stuff about Iwaj being a dictator is kind of not true. Because I feel like he was decently balanced by me and Cell, who were content to kind of just let people do stuff. Iwaj was really just good at sort of like coming up with plans and then really aggressively telling everybody to follow those plans.
Time to bring the dogs in.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This was the make or break day. Will there be negotiations for peace, or will the conflict escalate into a major war? It goes without saying that the desert leadership was unhappy with the Snow State for harboring the Plain State refugees.
Yeah, so if we go back to this picture where the village is on fire, so I was pointing out that we didn't actually burn the village, and I didn't actually want to do that because it was a pretty village. Like, we could have moved there. This was just something that Ish did afterwards for the video.
This was the make or break day. Will there be negotiations for peace, or will the conflict escalate into a major war? It goes without saying that the desert leadership was unhappy with the Snow State for harboring the Plain State refugees, who they saw as traitors. After Smilechump's village was looted and burned to the ground, the new leader of the Plain State, Lord of Lightning, was almost immediately killed by another Plains member for, quotes, no reason whatsoever.
That's exactly what happened.
There was chaos in the Plain States, and some Plains members took this as an opportunity to abandon the island and migrate to other states. One Plains member named Ron traveled to the desert island to become a member of the Amazon. The Amazon immigration officers conducted a background check and thoroughly vetted Ron to make sure he wasn't a threat.
Ron, I'm protecting you. I am your immigration lawyer.
This was not helped by the fact that I was not able to be on for like a decent portion of the days around this time just because of my personal schedule.
Thank you. Oh, I have to go to court now?
For security measures, we have to do this.
No, it's okay.
All my other team did was just yell at me. Or we all just, it was just pure chaos.
So that's why.
Coincidentally, this was also the day that Mikey's gang showed up and we killed them all. I would also like to point out that I don't think Lord of Lightning was ever technically elected leader. So I don't know what Ish is talking about there. And that's not just me being like, no, I was the leader. I really feel like Cell would have been a better choice for that, because Cell really was on every day, and just I feel like a good leadership model for the Plains. And yeah, so
Left.
Uh-huh.
This Plains member, my
Wait.
friend, Fireball X3.
It's okay.
All my other team did was just yell at me. Or we all just...
okay, Cell's saying he never yelled at Ron. I don't remember yelling at Ron either. I think that was probably just Iwaj. Iwaj was very aggressive the entire experiment.
It was just pure chaos.
So that's why you left.
Uh-huh.
This Plains member, my friend, Fireball X3, was also on his way out. He had no idea I was watching him, and I just could not resist doing this.
Oh my god, Alex. What are you doing?
Trying to scare you.
Yeah, it fucking worked.
What did you do? Just shoot you
puts on full diamond, gets in a boat, and comes the other way down the river at
Oh my
me.
god. Oh my god.
You're such an
Now, what remained of the Plains States was a small group of highly skilled fighters led
Yeah.
by a player named KaNukei. This group
Hey!
is now
Okay.
the Plains Militia. In the jungle, the people continued to expand their village and build that massive tower. They also bonded over their new favorite activity, fishing, which not only strengthened their community spirits, but also
Aw.
improved the quality of life for all their people. It also diversified the diet of Legacy's parrots, who had only been eating seeds, a well-deserved treat for being alive since day one and having survived Magic Mikey's raid and the jungle's civil war.
I don't care what you're talking about. Legacy's parrot is the main character of this entire experiment.
Legacy himself had become somewhat of a hero in the jungle when, in the previous day, he led an expedition into the Snow State to hunt down and kill a jungle trader. After this near-death expedition, Legacy hoped that he could finally retire and live the rest of his life peacefully with his parrots in the jungle village.
What a
On
what
the
a goal.
international stage, the two major alliances became official. First, the United Sands, led by Zamta, which included both of the desert factions and the Plains Militia. On the other side of the world was the Solev Union, led by Solev, which included the Snow States, the Plains Refugees, and the Jungle States. Attempts at peace between the two were well-founded but quickly fell through due to rising tensions caused by a variety of transgressions from both sides. On day 10, one member of the Plains Militia infiltrated the Snow State. Hitori Cage, the Plains refugee, killed the infiltrator in hopes to prove his allegiance to Solev.
Wait, who did he kill?
Solev held a ceremony. On day 10, one member of the Plains Militia
United States versus
infiltrated the
Soviet
Snow
Union.
States.
Whoops.
Hitori Cage,
Oh,
the
Luigi
Plains
Toad.
refugee, killed the infiltrator
I
in
liked
hopes to
Luigi
prove his
Toad.
allegiance to Solev. Afterward, Solev held a ceremony promoting Hitori Cage to a senior officer position in the Snow States.
Yeah, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I feel like tensions really grew bad between us and Solev, like the Plains and Solev, was because he was providing this, he was really harboring basically the assassin that killed our leader, so.
This ceremony was a direct insult to the desert factions who were already having
Yeah.
a bad day after the leader of the Sultanate, Arvine, was caught in flagrante delicto with the town sheep. Arvine was exiled, and a player named Banju Buemos became the new sultan. The people of the Snow State were delighted with their success, and even more delighted by the failures of the desert.
So, so here's the thing about the Sultanate is that I'm pretty sure they're just cursed to not be able to have one leader for a long time. Like, you know in Harry Potter where the defense against the dark arts position was cursed, or they can't have the same teacher for more than a year. I think the Sultanate sort of had something similar going on because they switched leaders a lot.
But the United Sands was not happy. They were angry that Solev had thwarted their original plan for world peace, and that he was harboring the refugees who killed the Plains leader. In addition, two highly armored snow members then visited the desert island uninvited,
yeah.
which caused many on the desert island to worry that an attack was coming. Desert propagandists then started to echo this sentiment that Solev and his evil regime were going to obliterate the people of the desert. Upon hearing this, the leader of the United Sands, Zamta, called an emergency meeting.
Okay, so the real story behind the Sultanate being replaced was that the Sultan just couldn't play anymore because of IRL situations. But they did that setup to make it sound funnier, and I agree that is a much funnier result.
With his top officials. He ordered that defenses be built and that the state provide armor and weapons to all desert citizens. To end the meeting, Zamta held a vote on launching a preemptive strike against the Snow State. The officials voted in the affirmative, and shortly, the United Sands declared war on the Solev Union. It was time for the Great World War. The United Sands prepared for its attack. The war plan was simple. Surround the Snow Island, approach the center, and kill Solev to rid the world of tyranny and achieve world peace.
I thought the plan was just use our insanely talented PvPers to just wipe everybody out. I would also like to point out that I wasn't present for any of the days of the war, which is very sad because I would have liked to. But again, because of IRL situations, I wasn't. I feel like Cell Memphar was much more of a leader at this point than I was.
Zamta and the United Sands had reached the Snow Island and had ordered their secret spies to create havoc from within. This was incredibly effective. Solev's military forces were dispersed, which allowed for an easy infiltration.
Hey Lime, that's you!
The Plains refugee Hitori Cage running for his life. Hitori Cage goes down! Wait, oh my god, Smile Chump and Solev! Wait, they're all gone. Smile Chump and the Plains refugees had all joined the fight, but they were simply outnumbered. The United Sands destroyed the Snow State, killing almost every citizen. Solev took his remaining fighters and fled his home. An empire no more.
This is actually really well, like, the cinematography in this is really well done. And the music, perfect.
The leader of the Jungle State,
Look at all those boats.
declared a full lockdown and ordered that Solev, now a refugee, be let in. Upon arrival, Legacy was the one to greet Solev and lead him to the place where the rest of the jungle was hiding. That place, which had been under construction for many days,
Oh, the wooden fence.
It was the wooden fence.
Cool. Wow, this is a very in-depth defense.
After the United Sands tracked Solev and arrived onto the shores of the Jungle State, they realized the magnitude of the challenge ahead of them. Nonetheless, they gathered their soldiers, prepared an attack, and thus it began, the Battle of the Wooden Fence.
Okay, I feel like the added war cries is a little much. I feel like just putting the actual Discord call in the background would have been much more chaotic and accurate. Just a tip about like Minecraft PvP is that sky bases usually don't work super well. Like they can work, but they're also like very easily I feel like if you know how to bridge up to them, then it's not that hard to infiltrate a skybase, but it's very pretty.
After the United Sands lost some soldiers, they made a new strategy. Instead of climbing up the tower, they decided to build above the tower. Like that, they cracked the puzzle of the wooden fence.
Yeah, that's Pruso. Pruso is probably the one who carried our team, more or less, PvP-wise. So Solev's Netherite. He's in Diamond here, and he was in Netherite earlier. I do want to go back and say to address that is that was the earlier shot where he was in Netherite. I don't know where it is. I think it's like back here or something. That was filmed afterwards just for dramatic effect. He didn't actually have the Netherite. And then yeah, Pruso was the person who came up with the plan to bridge over onto the tower itself. Why does everybody try an MLG? The server was way too laggy. That's another thing about the server, is that the first day the lag was so bad.
Solev, 9209, and most of their fighters were dead. The remaining snow and jungle soldiers fled the tower and dispersed throughout the jungle. The United Sands had defeated the Solev Union. This was the end of the Great World War.
And I missed the entire World War. because it happened on the 2 days I couldn't be there, and I was very upset about it. But what you gonna do?
The people of the United Sands returned home to celebrate their victory. They worked together to expand their towns and construct some pretty impressive buildings, including Hope's Flower Shop, which had become a very profitable business.
I was very invested in this side plot. Also, shout out to subscriber Crazy Gojo over there in the corner. He's a cool dude. None of this stuff actually happened. The server project was basically shut down right as soon as the Great World War ended. I logged on the day after the war, and I was, I think, killed by like a rogue desert state person. Anyway, the point is, is that the real post-war world was just absolute chaos. Like, everybody was just like killing each other. Pruso went on just like a killing spree where he killed, I think, more or less everybody that wasn't planes. Day 12 is basically not canon. The actual thing that happened was much more, there was a lot more anarchy and just people killing each other because most people died in that war. So yeah, the remaining living factions after, because I had gotten killed. So what happened was just Selimimfar and the Sultanate, basically, because Pruso had gone around and killed everybody who wasn't in the Sultanate or on the Plains Island. And Boy Jedi, one of the mods, spawned a Wither, and the Sultanate and Cell, and they just tried to fight it for like the last couple hours that the server was up. And the Sultan kept dying, so they went through like 50 Sultans in like, I don't know, like 30 minutes or something.
The Amazon.
That said, the flower shop is the side plot that I was very happy that it worked out in Ish's version.
Finally achieved their long-desired world peace. Meanwhile, the Snow Island was entirely empty except for the occasional visitor. One day, a graveyard honoring all the fallen Snow citizens mysteriously appeared in the middle of the abandoned Snow Island. Nobody knows who built it, but the United States leadership...
Hold on. We got to go back for a second.
One day, a graveyard honoring all the fallen Snow citizens
I forgot about this.
appeared in the middle of
There
the
was Iwash's grave. Oh, Hattori Cage. There was excuse me. Slayer of the Thieving Rat King is everybody who didn't like Iwash called him like the Rat King, which I thought was mean, but like retrospectively is actually just kind of funny.
Who built it,
but like after he was Iwash was assassinated, everyone was like chanting death to like the Rat King Iwash, his reign of terror is over, stuff like that.
Leadership decided to let it stay. Eventually, many of the former Snow and Jungle citizens met up and created a secret jungle enclosure where they could all peacefully live.
Yeah, I don't feel like this happened. I feel like Striker Fighter, he was one of the other really good PvPers on our team that I didn't shout out before. I'm sorry, but him and Pruso really did like just kill so many people in the war. They spent most of the day just weeding out the people who weren't dead already. So
grieved over the friends they lost in the Great War, but at least they were able to keep each other company. Right next to the new hidden enclosure was the house of a lone jungle merchant who had barely managed to escape the Battle of the Wooden Fence. But he did escape, along with his parrots. The longtime companions fished together.
Yeah! Legacy and his parrot survived. The main character has to make it.
For as long as they could before the sun went down.
All right. So that was cool. Yeah, that was a really well edited video. That didn't feel like it dragged on. That was just interesting. So go subscribe to Ish. If you're interested in joining the next one, because there's going to be a season 2. We don't know when it is. There should be. I'll put a link to the Discord in the description if I can. If not, you can join my Discord and ping me about it. With 6 states instead of 4, my takeaway from this is not probably that I would not do it again. Maybe it's just because I was in a leadership role and felt like I needed to be on every day, but trying to be on every day and then at the same time is just really hard. And then also, the paranoia when your fellow leaders get assassinated and you know it's your head on the chopping block. That's terrifying. Very stressful. Not a fun experience to have. But I might join next season, but if I did, I would definitely just want to be more chill and only play when I could / wanted to. The thing about this is that the time slot was very demanding because you were only allowed on for an hour every day. But this ended in 20 days? 12 days? Yeah. 12 days, whatever. It was pretty short, but it was still hard to be on every day and hard to compete with the other islands. You really felt like you had to be as productive as possible if you didn't want to get just eliminated. It was very military focused, and I think it'd be cool if next season there was something that kept it from being that military focused and made it more based off of the culture and the civilization. So it was definitely an interesting experience, and if you'd like to try it out, I'd say go for it because I think it's cool. But just be warned, there are a couple caveats there. Overall, Ish did a really good job with the video, and I'd like to thank him for putting on the whole experiment. I thought it was cool. I thought it was an interesting thing to be a part of, and just it felt like real politics were being developed there. So, but I won't bore you anymore. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you did, okay, Lime's telling me that they're trying to engineer season 2 to be more nation building focused, which would be cool. But yeah, I hope this helped shed a little bit of light on what actually happened. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments below or reach out to me on Discord or whatever. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I think that's going to do it for the stream tonight. I will make this a VOD, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.